Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we apologize for the delay, but we're ready to go now. I'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. Today is August 17th, and as always, we start our meetings out with a prayer and a pledge. And so today I'll ask Commissioner Walker, if he will, to lead us in prayer, and Commissioner Gardner will lead us in the pledge.
Okay. Let's all stand. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day and all your many blessings. We just thank you for the opportunity to come together as a board to try to do the business for the people. And I just pray you give us wisdom and guidance and help us to make decisions that be pleasing in your sight. Dear Lord, we just thank you for your many blessings and thank you for the community we live in. And dear Lord, we just thank you for the people present. And I just pray you watch over us all. Thank you for your many blessings. Amen.
Attention, salute, pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, the first thing on our appointments today would be our property tax exemption appeal. We have Ms. Tammy Wylie. The floor is yours, ma'am.
Thank you. I believe you should have paperwork in front of you there from, we received an exemption application after the deadline of January 31st. They reached out and we sent them all the paperwork for them to complete that and informed them that they had missed the deadline and that the only parties that could approve that late application with a good cause letter would be the commissioners. So that's what's presented to you there.
That is Calvary Baptist Church.
Yes, Mount Calvary Baptist Church.
Yeah.
They we could not accept the late application, and due to mostly our reason would be of saying they would not be exempt for this year is because they have in the past submitted timely applications, but their good cause letter indicated that they were not aware of the requirements. But, this board has the opportunity to read that good cause letter and accept the application for the 2026.
Staff recommends we approve this, correct? What's the pleasure of the board?
What?
No, I'm sorry. No, we're recommending you would not consider the 2026.
Oh, you recommend we would not.
I'll make a motion, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate staff and their attention to detail is always excellent. But I will say this is a church who does a good work in their community, and I would make a motion that we go ahead and approve it. It was a one-time occurrence, and I just make a motion we approve it, the request.
Second.
By the church.
We have a motion and a second. So without any other discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. I think that's why.
Thank you so much.
Okay, next on the agenda will be the Human Resources Proposed Policy Updates. We have Ms. Anna Lee with us from Human Resource Director. The floor is yours, ma'am.
Hello. So today I'm presenting several recommended updates to the McDowell County Personnel Policy Manual. These recommendations are a result of policy review process conducted over the past year and are also based on feedback that we've received from department heads, as well as our day-to-day administration of the policies. So for ease of review, I have provided copies. All proposed revisions in the Personnel Policy Manual are highlighted in yellow. Where existing policy has been revised, the proposed language has been placed directly below the current language so the board can compare the changes side by side. So I wanted to go into detail about the policies that I'll be discussing today. For the first reading, the first recommendation is a revision to our leave without pay policy. Currently, our policy has very little guidance on how supervisors should address employees who repeatedly request unpaid leave or establish patterns of excessive absenteeism. As a result, departments often handle these situations differently, making it difficult for supervisors and HR to apply the policy consistently and fairly. So this revision would create a clearer approval process, establish expectations for employees with their accountability, and give supervisors objective guidance when excessive leave without pay becomes a performance issue. I did pull some data this morning just for informational purposes. Last fiscal year, we had 67 employees in an active leave without pay status. That equated to 3,868 hours of unpaid time, which causes an undue hardship on departments when they're having to function with limited staff. The revision protects both employees and the county by promoting fairness consistently and appropriately, allowing flexibility for legitimate circumstances as well. Did any of you have any questions about the leave without pay policy? Okay.
No.
Okay. So the second recommendation is to formally incorporate our paid family leave policy into the personnel policy manual. As we've administered this benefit over the past year, we've identified opportunities to improve on clarity and administration of this. The policy now clearly defines the leave available for birthing and non-birthing parents, which eliminates confusion that's arisen in the past year. I'm also recommending that the board look into the eligibility beginning after 1 year of service and run concurrently with FMLA. Having both benefits begin at the same time makes the policy much easier for supervisors and us to administer. It reduces confusion for employees and creates a consistent standard across leave programs. From an HR perspective, it helps prevent situations where a newly hired employee becomes eligible for a significant paid leave benefit before establishing regular employment with the county. Some more data that I did pull this morning was in the last fiscal year, we had 12 people that used this benefit since you approved that be added to the policy manual. 3 of those people have went to a part-time status, dropping from full-time, and 2 of them have resigned out of the 12.
So we recently voted for that, correct?
Yeah, I
That
was
it
going to
was
tag in on that. I thought we had sort of laid this one to bed, so to speak.
Oh,
we
it's,
voted-
it's in place. What she's asking is that it be incorporated in the manual itself as a first, very easy, just,
But now refresh me. I've slept since then. So we were trying to recruit possibly new employees with a benefit that if a female became pregnant did we reduce it from a year down? I thought we reduced it
so,
to where it's also immediate, wasn't it?
I don't,
so there's a 30-day, I believe.
There's a 30-day waiting period that
Waiting
was
period.
approved. I don't recall that we ever discussed it being at a year. FMLA starts at a year.
Yeah, I remember FML.
And we did update a policy several years ago that was inclusive to both parties. If two people a couple was employed, then they were eligible for 12 weeks of benefit regardless.
So it's 30
each.
days now, right? Anna?
It started at 30 days, and over the past year that we've had this policy implemented, we've had 12 employees that have used it.
Mm-hmm.
And if we could run it concurrently with FMLA, it would still be a benefit to employees, and it's not taking that away, but it's ensuring that the employees that are coming on board have worked with us a period of time before they go out.
So you're actually wanting to change it from 30 days to a year by this.
Yeah.
And that reason is because 12 people have used it and 5.
12 people have used it, 2 have resigned, and 3 of those went to part-time. So essentially 5 resignations out of the 12.
I
Well,
agree
not
with
technically, 3 are part-time and they're still working, right? So you've had 2 resignations out of 12.
As far as benefits, though, they've resigned from their benefits, yes, from full-time.
And again, you're just listening. I mean, and you can give feedback, of course, but no, we're not.
'Cause this
asking
is
for
first reading,
action.
correct?
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry?
First reading.
First reading, yes.
So no action today,
Gotcha.
and these are recommendations. But please think about all of them, and then we can schedule action later on if you're agreeable. But we have, if I may say, we have had one person doesn't certainly color 12 people that are taking advantage of a program. One applicant especially. We've had someone apply that probably wasn't necessarily qualified either, that listed a reason she wanted to apply was that she was pregnant. And so it is a benefit that is nice for our employees, but the concern we have is making sure that people don't come here and work 30 days and then go out for 2 months and then go to the house.
and then quit after they get the
Get paid
benefit.
for more time they've worked. And so finding what a balance might be, but again, we'll have time to talk and lots of time to think about it before any sort of action.
Any other questions about that? So the third recommendation is to address a transferred sick leave policy. Currently, an employee who transfers from another agency, a qualifying employer could potentially begin using that leave immediately upon employment with us. I'm just recommending that a 6-month waiting period be implemented before transferred sick leave can become available. And this recommendation supports supervisors by ensuring that new employees establish satisfactory attendance during their initial employment period before relying on balances from other counties.
If I can interject for you due to the last three, and I've mentioned to you as commissioners that we are and have sought out feedback from our department leadership. And so we will communicate that to you as part of your decision-making process. Everyone may have thumbs up about it, may have thoughts and concerns about it. So we're still seeking that out. So we'll provide that to you. And a lot of this is what you're seeing has been based on concerns, but anything else will.
Yeah, I do appreciate the fact, though, I wrote it down, that a question I had, and you answered it, was had our department's heads had ample time to review and make recommendation or comment, and as county staff, being the county manager, reviewed it, and was he in agreement with everything you were presenting today?
We're still on the input seeking. We haven't said too bad, so sad. You haven't given us enough at this point, but we'll give a little bit more time for folks, and then we'll share that with you for your decision making.
Well, that's good to have that open line of communication.
That's right. Sorry.
Go ahead. So moving on, the fourth recommendation is modernizes our dress code policy. As part of this review, I did compare policies from Burke, Buncombe, Caldwell, Catawba, Mitchell, Rutherford, and Yancey counties. Most of those counties, if not all, have transitioned towards a business casual approach while still maintaining the professional expectations of dress code. Our proposed policy simplifies the existing language, establishing one consistent standard for all employees rather than separate expectations based on gender, and provides supervisors with clear guidance when addressing the dress code concerns. But from our perspective, a simplified policy is easier to interpret and enforce consistently across departments. From a recruitment and retention standpoint, modernizing our expectations also helps ensure our workplace remains competitive with neighboring employers. Anybody have any questions about that?
There will be a description of the requirements on the clothing, correct?
There is, yes.
Okay.
There's still the, I didn't bring it up here with me, but there's still, it breaks out the exceptions and the exemptions to the policy.
So this highlighted, you want to add dark wash denim, black denim jeans, free of holes.
And there are departments such as our tax assessors, our building inspectors, maintenance, people that are in a
DSS.
labor-driven job. DSS, they go into homes. They really should be wearing more business casual attire in those homes. I just think it would be a good thing to look at.
I agree.
And the next thing is our wellness affidavit deadline. Right now, and it has been for a long time, that the wellness affidavit has to be completed by May the 30th. I'm just recommending to extend that deadline to June 30th because of provider availability and giving the employees a little bit more time to get that in.
Is that action we need to take today?
No, sir.
No.
Okay.
And the final recommendation that I have is to adopt a more comprehensive vehicle fleet policy. Over the past year, HR and finance has worked through several situations involving vehicle accidents, moving violations, driver license issues, and post-accident procedures that highlighted the need for one consistent policy. The policy establishes clear expectations for who may operate county vehicles, qualifications, things that are already told in our policy. But it also, for supervisors, it provides clear guidance and consistent standards when addressing vehicle-related issues. Overall, it would just help with our assets, county assets, and implementing policies, especially post-accident procedures.
So that's another question. So we've got an accident versus an incident currently. And right now, any kind of incident is drug tested, correct?
Correct. Right now, anything that involves a county vehicle's tested.
Because that was a recent complaint that I received, I forwarded to Ashley. So, if somebody brushes, accidentally backs into a mailbox in a driveway, as far as the language goes, we need to clean that up. And you may have done it already with this change recommendation, but I don't think they should be drug tested if they just accidentally sort of back into a mailbox now and tie it maybe to the amount of damage done or whatever. But to ask an employee to be drug tested, just they got an exemplary record
Sure.
and just back into a mailbox accidentally.
Sure.
So,
Yeah, I agree. The policy, the way that we practice it downstairs is we just like to have all our bases covered. So that's how we've done it till we change it.
And Ms. Lee has asked for some guidance from, I guess from workers' comp, attorneys, just more of a property liability. Anyway, on their recommendations.
Sure.
Because on the dollar threshold, or I've seen other ones, well, it wasn't towed away, so maybe, so whatever the recommendation might be from that person is probably what it would be on that line,
It would
because it is
seem-
pretty inclusive.
It would seem to me that it would be safer for the county to require it in every situation, rather than exempt some based on the, it not being that big a deal.
With the
You
exemption.
could face an issue sometime over where someone
Yeah, with
felt
the
like they had been
exemption-
discriminated against and unjustly tested, whereas others had been omitted. So
Right.
I don't know, it makes me wonder if we shouldn't just leave it to where, everyone has to do it.
I think with the exemption, it's just important that we have clear guidance on what qualifies and what doesn't, because there is gray area in that things are going to happen that you don't anticipate. And so if we kind of have a gray area guide as well about who needs to be tested and who doesn't, then that would be helpful if we do that.
But again, y'all have the ability to say, we're comfortable with, maybe even if you hit a mailbox, we're going to test you.
That's where I'm at. I know, I don't have to think about that. That's where I'm at. I think it's a precaution that's just the county needs to take. But, yeah, that's just an opinion.
If we don't have any questions about anything we went over so far, I promise I'm wrapping it up. But I did want to transition to some data to be able to show you and everyone that's watching about what we're looking at. While these recommendations may appear administrative on the surface, they all have a common purpose: to create policies that are easier for employees to understand and easier for supervisors to administer. And that's where I'm going to lead into the recruitment and the retention information that's included in the rest of this presentation. What you see here is a dashboard view of NeoGov, the government jobs platform that we use, attract and recruitment. And this you can see where every job is posted currently, and you can see the job number, the job title, the amount of hits it's received, which is views that it's received, and the active total number of applications. On the far right, you can see the quantity, which tells you that there's a high number of applications. It's running on track or it's trending very low. I did want to bring to your attention a couple of these as examples. Income maintenance caseworker is a good example. There has been 6,027 people that have viewed the job, and we've received 46 applications. The finance director trainee, 3,351 views, 40 applications. EMS provider, 1,102, 7 applications. So you can see that the amount of hits versus the amount of applications is significantly different. Here's just more jobs. These are all active jobs as of last week. So you can see, and what we can do with these is we source the applications and we source the jobs, so we can go on and recruit people essentially through the system. When I see that a job is trending low, I can go and source the job. Basically, it sends out an email blast to everyone that's in government jobs. That's anybody that's applied for any local government jobs within North Carolina and even out of state. I can zoom in on the radius from McDowell County. 100 miles is typically what I do, and it'll email blast all these people saying, hey, McDowell County has a great opportunity, finance director's open. You can also see in this data, this is year-to-date views on active vacancies through the government jobs. There's been, since we've implemented this system, there's been 88,280 views to McDowell County, which is significantly different from just posting it on the HR portal, which I appreciate that you've approved this system. It's been helped us tremendously. In this year to date, we have received 509 applications in total, and you can see the minimum qualifications have been met for most of these jobs with 426. The system does not allow, if you don't meet the minimum qualifications of certain criteria, for it to pass, which has helped us with screening applicants and finding the most qualified candidates. The reason I bring this up is just to show that recruitment we're doing our best to recruit quality candidates and get departments the candidates that they deserve and that they need. I did want to show you some retention as it relates to that. From 2025 to 2026, so last fiscal year, I was able to pull some data. We hired 170 employees, 128 of those, I'm not certain if it's 128 of those, but it's 128 employees from the agency separated. So there was only a net growth of 42 employees last year total. 68% of these separations are voluntary resignations. Retirements account for 8 of those, and involuntary separations is less than 8%. So you can see that people are leaving voluntarily and going other places. Again, the majority of turnover is voluntary. It's highlighting the importance of employee retention initiatives. These statistics, the reason I'm bringing this up is it provides a foundation to discuss a variety of things, including our benefit comparison, which I've listed in this graph up at the top. Our vacation and sick runs exactly as other counties do. I have requested the pending updates to the paid parental leave to go out to 1 year. Buncombe County was the only one that responded that has the paid family leave benefit, and they do run 1 year concurrent with FMLA. The sick leave transfer, you can see Rutherford and Buncombe have a 6-month waiting period. Caldwell didn't specify. Burke lets them use it immediately like we are right now, where they can transfer in time from another agency and use it on their first day of employment whenever they're eligible for benefits. So you'll notice in the policy manual updates that I've highlighted the longevity section in the policy manual blue. I just want to emphasize that I'm not requesting any action on this policy regarding longevity today, but I did want to include it for your information. You can see in this graph that McDowell County falls short in percent. If you're looking at all 5 of these, our longevity begins at the 10-year mark at 1.5%, and it goes up in increments. But even in comparison, Burke County begins at 10 years and they're at 2%. So and there's a variety of other things that these other counties are doing. But I just think it would be interesting to look at this policy. Currently, only 112 of our 383 full-time employees, or approximately 29%, are eligible for longevity because eligibility does not begin until 10 years of service. So that's nearly 71% of our workforce that we're working to retain and recruit that receives no longevity benefit today. As we continue to focus on employee retention, I do believe it would be worthwhile for the board to evaluate whether our longevity program remains competitive with surrounding counties and whether there's opportunities to recognize employees earlier in their careers. You can also see the breakdown here of the 71% versus the 29%. Most eligible employees are receiving the lowest tier, so they're receiving the minimum benefit, which then tells me that the turnover is consistent with most people do not stay as a long-term employee.
And so the longevity is just each year?
It's just
the,
each year. Mhm.
Just like an addition to their,
Once you reach 10 years of service with McDowell County, you get 1.5% of your salary.
Is that the vested time? That's,
sorry?
That is the vested.
That's your actual date of hire for McDowell County, yes. Yeah. So
Do you know
that's
how much more it would be if we went from 1.5 to 2%?
I would have to get with Allison on that actual number, but I just wanted to kind of bring that to your attention that we do, we're lower than even the minimum, which was Burke County. There are some counties that do just a straight monetary amount instead of a percentage. That could be something that you looked at too, to honor these employees that are under the 10-year mark. But that's just something for you to kind of digest and look at. I can get you more information as you need it. So in closing, these policy recommendations are intended to provide clear guidance and improve consistency across departments. And I do appreciate you guys taking the time to hear the first reading, and if you have any questions, please let me know. If you don't have any more questions, I would like to mention one last thing, that HR is currently working on several employee recognition initiatives that will be taking place over the next coming months, and I would like to extend that invitation to you as we get a deadline, or a day.
Thank you.
Okay?
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay. Next is item C on our agenda today, and we have Miss Sarah Brewer, Human Service Director. So, Miss Sarah, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon, Commissioners, Mr. Wooten and Ms. Robinson. I hope that you all had a good weekend. Thanks for giving me some time today. I hope that you got the MOU data that I sent out. Are there any questions about that data as presented? I have a few updates for you with the Human Services Department. The first thing I want to talk about is, ironically, staffing and vacancy updates. In our Children's Services, which is our Child Protective Services unit, we are almost full. I have one open position for a permanency planning worker, and that's a really good feeling. Folks are sticking around, which is very positive for us. So feeling really good about the work that we're able to do, being so close to being fully staffed. In our Economic Services unit, we were given some funding from the state to be able to support 3 IMC positions, which is great because with the implementation of HR 1, we could use those extra employees in order to process those recertifications for the Medicaid applications. And so we were able to post the jobs for those 3 new positions, and we are only down to 4 positions, including those 3 that we just posted. So that's great news for our Economic Services unit. We have 2 applications, and so 4 positions, 2 applications. Feels like we're in pretty good shape for to handle what comes with HR 1. Any questions about that?
Yes. What was the grant for?
It wasn't a grant. It was just a stipend of money that they gave all 100 counties in order to help with those recertifications for those Medicaid applications come in with HR 1 in October, in the fall. So yeah, which was a blessing. Any other questions? Okay. I just wanted to give you guys a brief update about our food nutrition program. We made some changes. Along with the implementation of HR 1 that's coming, McDowell County will receive a penalty or a fee if errors are made in processing those food nutrition applications. The way that I understand it, it's going to be a fee statewide if they go below or above a certain error rate, which is 6%. The county internally, if we go below that error rate, above that error rate, then we will also have a penalty, a fee. The good thing is McDowell County, traditionally since October of 2025, we have been 0. We have had a 0 error rate, which is great. That means we're doing really good work, and hopefully we won't get those penalties. The state, however, right now is at a 6.49% of an error rate, and so we are at risk to have a percentage of a penalty fee if they don't get that below the 0.49%. So we were talking with our team about some things that we can do just to make sure. I mean, we're in good shape right now, but I always like to plan for making sure that we ourselves don't have to pay that penalty. And so what we did in the food nutrition unit was we added another supervisor. It's a pretty small unit, but we only had one supervisor and 2 team leads. And so what we decided to do was to make 2 supervisors, 1 team lead in that unit. We added a part-time continuous quality improvement position to the economic services team, and they are going to randomly pull those cases to check for errors in advance and to help guide workers as they're processing those cases to reduce those errors. Something that the state has implemented, which I think is great, is a peer-to-peer review on every case. So that means internally, the peers will review their cases, and then the supervisor will review the peers' review of the case, which is also another way to ensure that that error rate stays low. So those are things that we felt like were important, just to kind of change our structure around, just to make sure that we don't fall above that error rate with the work that we're doing. Any questions about that? Okay, great.
Can I interject just for 1 second?
Yes.
We don't know, Ms. Brewer talked about the statewide impact. If the state is in trouble, we're all collectively punished. I think the math is maybe about $75,000 a year for our county specifically if we did everything else right. And how they would impose that is by withholding some of your sales tax revenue. So we want everyone, all the other 99, to do well. And so we're appreciative of the state focusing resources. Could use some more on that area, but we'll take what we can get. So we'll continue to monitor it. There is some talk in Congress about pushing some of this stuff out a year, but I wouldn't hold your breath. So anyway.
I would love it if they would do that.
Question.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you. And it is Child Support Awareness Month, and I wanted to take a moment to honor our child support staff here in McDowell County. They're a phenomenal group who I think work really hard, and I'm very proud of them and the work that they do. These ladies who are here with me, they serve 1,238 people since August of this year, and that's a lot. That's a lot of work that they're doing. Not only that, but each of them carry a caseload of over 100 cases that they have to process. Every time I meet with the state, with Crystal, the supervisor, and they review their work, there are rarely any adjustments or things that this team needs to do to make corrections to the work that they do, and they do a really, really good job. And so I just wanted to honor them and to honor the work that they do.
Introduce them to us and tell us what their titles are.
And bring them up, because we'll get a picture with them too.
Introduce them as you bring them up.
Okay. This is our supervisor. This is Crystal Thomas.
Hi, Crystal.
This is Cindy Davis. And are you? You'll have to tell them if you're in enforcement or.
I'm in enforcement.
Okay, in enforcement. This is Amy Smith.
Enforcement?
Enforcement, and this is Rebecca Warner. Did I say your name wrong? No. Are you in enforcement or establishment? Okay.
Okay, great. We certainly appreciate your hard work.
We will get a picture maybe, y'all. So if y'all get on this side, right over here facing that way. Thank you for all you do. Thank you. Good work. Thank you.
That's a lot of kids you all have.
Thank you for the good work. Thank you for all you did.
They can approve it. You do have a proclamation declaring it.
Make a motion, we approve the proclamation concerning this big month that we are embarking on, this entitled Child Support Awareness Month proclamation. Make a motion to approve it.
We have a second. Okay. Without any discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay,
And that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much
thank
for
you
your
so
time.
much, and thank you for the wonderful job you do, Ms. Brewer. You do a great job as well. We appreciate everyone involved in that fund. Okay, moving along to other business, which item A would be that NCACC legislative goals, Mr. Wooten.
Yes, sir. Last week, we had maybe like a first reading of legislative goals that our Association of County Commissioners is seeking from all 100 counties. And again, really quick, this is where the counties submit goals that they would like that generally have a statewide impact and not necessarily a single county issue. And so what we talked about last week was targeted tax relief, especially for our low-income elderly. Also talked about school funding, and as well as maybe additional revenue options, so there's not as much dependence on the property tax as we currently have. And so if you're agreeable to those three and maybe others, we can submit those in. And what would happen, again, they would put them all in a funnel and categorize them based on the field or area. And then in November, the county representatives will come together and vote on a platform.
When will you send those in?
The deadline is about 10 days from now.
Okay, we can go ahead and adapt that today, those
Yeah.
that you have, and then if we have something else, we can add to it.
Yes,
between-
sir.
I want to go and add to it also right now, our school system for years has wanted to have control over setting their own calendar. And so I'm making, include them with the ones presented, that we add that as one of our goals to try to help our school system have more control on setting their local calendar.
I would agree with that.
Yes.
Is there guidelines of what we ask? I don't know.
Not really, other than it generally needs to be items that are not, like I said, single county issue. Like if you said you wanted like an interchange on an interstate or something, that doesn't affect everybody else. So it needs to be something generally that we think other counties are facing as an issue. If that makes sense. So, but it can be pretty broad other than that. Whether it's a human service.
It's going to be vetted out when they meet anyway.
That's right. And again, you've got 100 different perspectives and they vote, and it's very democratic, and there's urban and rural and left and right, all kinds of things in the state, and they come together and advocate as one, and they don't go and say, well, actually some of our counties this, and it's just, this is what our members want. So it's pretty nice. And if you don't like as a county what's being advocated, you can still call your people and advocate more specifically.
So, parents being able to be AFLs for their adult handicapped children, is that a healthcare issue or is that a legislative issue? I know when it comes to registry of the run list, unmet needs, like that's
Right.
a state list, correct? Not an insurance list?
Right. I
'Cause I know
think
McDowell County, I think we got like one last year maybe that could go on the list. I'm just wondering if that's a legislative thing, I tackle with our local legislation, or this is something we could do.
it's a pretty, you don't mind me calling it a narrow issue. It's a very important issue, but I would imagine if people in the other 99 counties, maybe folks like Ms. Brewer or others that have a little bit more knowledge, there's probably not many commissioners where it's on their mind or radar because they're not as attuned to those issues as you are specifically. But I might need help if the other two commissioners were okay with including language. I might need help framing what to say, but that's up to the board today. But
I'm good with it.
I'm good with it.
But if I could get some help on how to frame it, because the other 4 items, they've been ongoing communication, but you could help me with that language, I'd be glad to, of course, submit it.
Okay.
So we had the 5 I can go ahead again with some help, get those submitted.
I make a motion we approve the 3 presented and the 2 additions today.
Okay, and any others that we come up with within the next 10 days. Okay, we have a second on that. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
We do not have any administrative items for action. I will note you have a report from Mr. Keller in your inbox about building inspections. So if you'll take a look at that on some good things going on there. But,
Okay.
And I think it might be important just to highlight too, since we have that report now, William's role.
Yeah. We have recently added another job to William. Since he's trying to retire, we want to keep him as busy as we can on the way out the door. So we have positioned him as the deputy county manager for a short time, next 2 months through the final part of his stay, and he has been assigned to primarily work in the building inspection department, and with hopes that he can help that department out and help to make it a better, more efficient department than what it seemingly might have seemed to be in the past with in the views of some people. But anyway, he's working to help us out in that, and anything else that the county manager can see that any other areas he would need to be could help out in. But anyway, we're very proud to have him working in that capacity, and he has always, in all the years he's been with the county, he has always just excelled in his job, and we're very proud of him, and so we felt like that he would be a valuable asset to us in that department as we close out his wonderful career here with McDowell County. So thank you for that, sir.
Motion to adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned.